Okay, so we're going to look at, in this video right now, we're going to pick up where we left off with after we created our 3D model of the control bracket, and we want to create 2D orthographic views. And we're going to look at this in two different ways. First we'll look at the Flashot method, okay, kind of the dumb method in the sense that the model is not going to be connected to the 2D orthographic views, so if we update the model, it doesn't reflect an update in the Flashot views that we're going to create. And then we'll do a second video which is going to use the model and base view commands to create a smart view system, but there's going to be some limitations on that, or some difficulties, I should say, not limitations. Okay, so all right, so let's get started with this. So what the views I want to create are a front section view, a top view, a right side view, and then two auxiliary views of this inclined surface and this inclined surface. All right, so let's go ahead and begin this view process. So the first thing I want to do is I want my views to be on the correct layer. So I want to make sure that my layer right now is on the visible layer, because that's the view that or the layer that I want my views to be on. And then we'll orient to the front view, and we'll do a flat shot. All right, new block, yes. Color, we want this to be by layer, and we want this to be by layer. Even though it's the same continuous, we want it to be by layer. By layer is kind of the good protocol or practice that we want to follow. For the obscured lines, it doesn't matter because we're going to change those. We're going to put those on the hidden layer. I cannot put them on a second layer right now, so what I'm going to do is, just to differentiate them clearly, I'm going to make them cyan. All right, that way I can get them and change them later. So we'll go to create, we create that view, there it is, and I'm just going to put it down here and take all the defaults. Now you can see that this is clearly not on the XY plane at z equals 0. It's parallel to the XY plane, but it's not at z equals 0. Z equals 0 would be right about here. But that's no problem. You know, we'll change that without a big deal. All right, so let's go to our other views. Let's look at a top view, and we'll go flat shot. And we'll take the defaults again. Okay. And we'll do right side view. And we'll do flat shot again. Now I like this method of just kind of accumulating views and then arranging them later. I think this is the view that makes the most sense and is actually the most efficient. Just create the views and then we arrange them later. All right, now for the tricky part, the auxiliary views. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to do this in two steps. First of all, we need to change our user coordinate system so that it is parallel to the surface that we want to take the flat shot in. All right, so just like we create a flat shot from this view, we need to make the inclined surface here, what we're looking at as an edge, our plan view. So we can do that by going to the UCS command, UCS, and there's two ways we could do this. We could use the face command, or we can use the 3-point command. I'll use the 3-point command first, and then the next one I'll use the face command. So 3-point, we type in 3, and then it says specify an origin. So we go here, specify X direction, and we pick right there, and specify the Y direction, and we'll pick right there. Right, and then we can see that oriented it that way. Now to look at this as a plan view, in other words, to look at this dead on, we can go right here to top. Notice how this shifted, and look at it right there. Now this is the auxiliary view that we want to create. All right, so now we can go to flat shot, and all that's good, and we'll just take that right there, and let's just move it somewhere. Take all the defaults. Now let's go back to our original view, UCS, enter, and then if we enter the default again, it takes us back to UCS world. So we're back here, and now we can go to this view, and we want to do the same thing here. And this time I'll use the face option, so UCS, F for face, and we choose that face right there. That's good. Accept. And now we go back to top again. Kind of shifts it around, but you know, it's all good. We go to Flashot, take the defaults, and we go like this, and then there we are. All right, so now let's go back to our original UCS and enter the default to go to world, and then we can, there we are. All right, so we see all of the orientations here. Now you'll notice that these views are kind of, they look skewed, and that was because the UCS XY plane was reoriented in order to create those flat shots. But that's not going to be a problem. We're not actually going to use these. We're going to use the block. Remember that when we made the flat shot, it makes a block. So actually, we're just going to delete this, and we'll delete that. Actually, before I delete it, let's look at this so I can show you. Yeah, so you see these are kind of skewed a little bit because we messed up the UCS. Well, we didn't mess it up. We changed the user coordinate system. All right, so that's why these are that way. Everything else was fine because we were with the original user coordinate system XY plane. So we'll click on this and go delete, and we'll click on this and go delete. And now that we're here, let's go back to insert. And let's let this load. So we're going to go to these last two, that one right there, and we should be able to drag that right in, and this one right here, and we should be able to drag that right in. Okay, so those are our two auxiliary views. By the way, I really don't like this new dialog box kind of approach to blocks. I find it very difficult to use. You know, so that's something to to plan on maybe with your class spending some time discussing, because I find it, you know, kind of difficult. But anyway, so we have all our views. So now we just need to arrange them. Okay, so let's start by just taking this object and moving it over here. Okay, all right. Now we need some projection lines to help us locate things. So I'm going to project up here, and I'm going to project out here. And let's go and move this object, and we're going to grab it from the corner right here to, you know, right about there. That's good. We can always move it up and down. And we'll do the same thing over here. We'll grab that and we'll move it from here to, yeah, that looks good. All right. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. All right. And so you can see what we have. Okay. Maybe we can move this a little bit closer. We're not going to worry about dimensions right now. You know, if we were going to put in dimensions, then, you know, of course we'd need to be cognizant of the view spacing. But right now we'll just keep it simple. Dimensioning is not an issue with 3D, really. And now we want to get our auxiliary views. Whoops. And you know what? I'm going to need to move this a little bit further apart. Yeah, right there. All right. Now, with auxiliary views, we want to make sure the views are aligned. So this view right here, we need to rotate it parallel to this. So, and I know this is rotated at 60 degrees, or is it 90? Let's see. Let's go distance, and let's do that. And that is an angle 30 degrees. Sorry, 30 degrees. It looked 30 degrees. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to use the rotate command, and I'm going to rotate it 30 degrees right there. Whoops, 30 degrees. Okay. And now I need to draw a kind of a reference line, and again I want to make sure that's 30 degrees. And then let's move this to right about there. That's good. Okay. Now, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to make this a partial auxiliary view. So I'm going to get rid of some stuff there, but I'll do that in a bit. And now I want to do the same thing here. I want to draw, first of all, a reference line perpendicular to the inclined surface. So right there. I need to rotate this. And, whoops, sorry. Let's move this first. We'll move it over here. And we'll rotate it. Now whoops, let's rotate. This does require some knowledge of orthographic projection, you know, so that's something that maybe this is a lecture that you do with your class. Okay, so now let's make these, first of all, let's get the lines to be on the correct layer. Okay, so in order to do that, I need to explode these lines or these views. So I'm just going to go to the explode command. Let's type in explode, and I'll window everything here and go like that. Okay. Now let's, when I see these turned into these went on layer 0, so we'll have to change that as well. So let's do this. Actually, let's use the selection command, and let's go to let's see, where is that command? Let's try group edit. All right, well, I think let's see. All right, well, I think I'm just going to have to do this All right, so let's do this the brute force method. All right, so what we need to select all the cyan lines here, and we're going to use QuickSelect to do that. QuickSelect, QSelect. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the entire drawing, and we want to take multiple object types, and we want to choose them by color, and the color is going to be equal to cyan. And then there we go, and that's going to select them, and then we can put them on the hidden layer right there. Okay, so there we go. Whoops, and we say okay. All right, so now let's type in LT scale, and let's change this to let's make sure we change those. Yeah, hidden. Oh yeah, here's a good tip. The line types only show up as broken lines if we're in 2D wireframe. Okay, so this is actually very important, and I remember this now. So right now in conceptual, I'm never going to see these appear as broken lines. So when I'm working on this, I need to make sure I'm in 2D wireframe. Okay, and now I can go to LTS, and let's change this to 25, 12. Is it going to work? Let's see. Let's make sure. Hidden. Oh, no, hidden line type. All right, so we need to figure out why these aren't breaking. LTS 100.1. All right, let's see why. Let's go to properties and let's see why these aren't breaking. So line type, hidden. Oh, line type is continuous. Well, that would account for everything. So let's go to LTS. We'll set this back at 1. And let's do a QSelect again. And let's grab everything that is a color equal to cyan. And we're going to make that our new selection set. And we want to make sure that the let's right click and go to properties and see how it's hard coded to continuous. We want to make that go to bilayer. Okay. And there we go. All right. So let's close that and let's do LTS 12. There we go. Okay. So now let's do the same thing. This is a white. So we'll go to QSelect. And we want to look at everything in the drawing, multiple object types, and we want the color to be equal to white. And there's our, whoops, no, maybe these aren't white. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter because we're going to select everything that's on layer 0. All right, everything multiple on layer equal to 0. There we go. And we want everything to go to the visible layer. Okay. And you can already tell, I can tell that they're not changing their color. So I'm going to right click and go to properties now. And bilayer. No, everything looks good. Line weight is actually should be 0.6. All right. And there we go. Okay. So now we got everything set up. We can fine tune this a little bit. Let's move this a little bit closer. And we want to make sure we move it along this axis. That looks good. And I want to create this as a, I don't think that's the right view. I think I got this. Yeah, this does not look like the right view. So I'm going to go back in there and change that. But let me fix this. So I want this to be a partial auxiliary view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this line and this line. This line. So we'll get rid of all this stuff. I don't even want these hidden lines. And nor do I want these hidden lines here. So partial auxiliary view right there. Now that does not look like the right view. In fact, that looks the same as that view. So I think I picked the wrong block. So we'll fix that again also. These are all good. You might even say that I don't need the auxiliary view here, or I don't need the hidden lines here. Remember, I'm going to change this to a section view. So what I want to do is here, I want to change all of these lines to visible lines. So let's go in here and let's change this to visible. This is really where the color by layer. This is really where you need to make sure that you know drafting rules and how to deal with properties, right? So let's do this also. We'll do that, and we'll do this, and color by layer, layer, visible, and line weight. We want this to be by layer. Okay. And now we can go ahead and section that. So let's create our section view. And the hatch command, there it is right there, hatch. So we'll choose in here, in here, in here, in here. Whoops. You know what? That is not correct. This needs to be trimmed out. Let's see, did I make any other mistakes? Yes. That line is going to go away. Whoops. And there we go. All right, so let's try this again. Section view, draw, hatching. Let's go ahead and make sure we're on the right ANSI 31 layer, and we pick in there. All right, and we'll close our hatch. There we go. Now this other auxiliary view, let's figure out where that went. So we'll go to Insert, and I thought it was that one right there, but maybe it is this one right here. Yeah, it is that one. I can tell that because this cut out. All right. So now this came in on the section layer. So we got to do some changing again. So we got to explode this. Actually, let's go ahead and change this to, let's explode this. All right, and let's do a QSelect and color, actually, yeah, color equals white. Yeah, that must not be white. All right, we'll just do QSelect layer equals 0. And we want that to go to the visible layer, and we want to right click and go to properties, and we want to make sure the color is bilayer, the line type is bilayer, and the line weight is also bilayer. All right, so there we go there. Now here we are going to not, I think I did this too fast. I think we need to do the hidden lines first. Let's do this. QSelect color cyan. There we go. And let's right click and let's go up here to hidden, and we'll right click and go to properties, and we want to make sure that the layer is hidden. The line type is bilayer. Line weight is also bilayer. And then that's all good to go. Okay, so now let's get this oriented properly. Let's go ahead and delete some of these lines here. And we don't need any, this is a partial auxiliary view, so we don't need any hidden lines. It's the great thing about partial auxiliary views. And all right, and now we got to get this oriented properly, so let's try work on this again. So we'll go from this point out some distance, right? And we'll move, let's rotate this first. So we'll rotate it 30 degrees, and then we'll move it. And we want to make sure we move the correct one. So actually this is going to go, let's see, right about there. Okay, so that's correct. And we can move this further. Let's move it a little bit closer. There we go. Zoom extents. So we're good to go. There's our 3-view drawing. Maybe we can get this a little bit closer together, like so. Using Flashot. This is ready to print. This is ready to dimension. This is ready to put our center marks on here. I won't bore you with that. Now let's get this set up. So let's double click in here, do a zoom extents. And then let's bring this in. Now what scale do we want? It looks like it's 0.3, so maybe 0.25. No. 0.5. I think that's going to be as good as we can get. Can we get, that's 1/2 scale. Can we get 1:1? We ain't going to get 1:1. So let's go to 1/2 scale. There's our 1/2 scale drawing. We can lock this, double click on this, and we're ready to go. All right. So in the next video, I'll create the same drawing as much as I can. The auxiliary views are going to be the problem, okay? But I'll create the same drawing as much as I can using model and base views, okay? So I'll see you in the next video.